would urge you to go all out so that we can establish these elite schools, so that these talented individuals do not end up going abroad. Because for a long time, imperialists have always drawn talent from here through scholarships. Once they are home, they do not return to the country. I do not want these brains that are here to end up abroad and not serve our country. Make sure that these initiatives succeed and that we can establish the polytechnic and technological universities we need so that these children can express all their talents and work for the benefit of our homeland. I would urge you to go all out so that we can establish these elite schools, so that these talented individuals do not end up going abroad.
Greetings everyone, I hope you are fine, I hope you are doing well. Ibrahim Traoré is that kind of a leader that Africa needs. Some people may call him a dictator, but I believe that there are instances whereby you need a dictator, someone who will make decisions without hesitation, especially if that particular individual is someone who loves himself. Because most definitely, if you love yourself, then there's a high possibility that you will make decisions that are in favor of your community or that are in favor of your people. So this is Ibrahim Traoré. Within a short period of time, he has achieved what many African leaders have not achieved in a period of 20 years in office, 30 years in office, 50 years in office, lifetime in office. So this is Ibrahim Traoré. So right now, as we speak, Ibrahim Traoré is like, we have to try by all means to stop these scholarships. In other words, we have to try by all means to stop our people from moving away from Africa into other countries, because at the end of the day, once they are in those countries, they'll end up becoming the investment in those countries. Yes, indeed, this is happening. There are many Africans who went to other countries, especially Western countries, and the moment they got into those countries, they started achieving, they started building, they started like creating things. In other words, they started doing what is unbelievable. But at the end of the day, they have become investment in those countries. So it's happening in business, it's happening in sports, it's happening in many areas. For an example, we have many soccer players from Africa who are now playing for other countries like England, France, and many other countries. So what is the reason? Is because in Africa, there's a poor infrastructure. No one is developing. No one is doing anything. So now these leaders who are selling out, these leaders who are puppets, they've created a mindset in our people that the moment you move out of Africa, you are not coming back. So that is why Ibrahim Traoré is like the moment they walk out, they are not coming back again. Yes, this is a fact, because we have players who are playing for England and they are not playing for their countries like Cameroon, Nigeria, and many other countries here in Africa. Why? Because they found success in those countries and they've been developed in those countries. So the development they got in those countries is the development that you cannot find here in Africa. Why? Because when it comes to many leaders, it's all about themselves. So that is why the most important thing a country has to do is to invest upon its own people. In other words, when you see young people, you have to say, you know what? I want someone amongst these young people to come up with a solution when it comes to transport, a solution when it comes to energy, a solution when it comes to this crisis, a solution when it comes to this other crisis, and etc. and etc. But you cannot do so, especially if you are a puppet, especially if you don't have a mindset of solving the problems in your own community, in your own country. So in other words, you must have this mindset to say, you know what? I want to solve the problems that we are facing in our country. And now I have to invest upon young people so that I can find solutions amongst them. And again, what I like about Burkina Faso, that is why I always say it's better to earn $500 a month living in Burkina Faso under the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, someone who is interested in leading young people and people of Burkina Faso in general towards a right direction. That's a right thing. It doesn't mean everybody will be rich. It doesn't mean if you're living in Burkina Faso now you'll become a #1 investor, or everyone will become a #1 investor. That's not the case. But the most important thing is that when it comes to economic development, when it comes to the development of infrastructure, when it comes to development of everything, at the end of the day, each and every one will become a contributor. It doesn't mean everybody will start working, because we have to understand that when it comes to this journey of developing our country's infrastructure and etc., there are many challenges. But when you see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, even your patience works for you. In other words, it makes sense when someone say you need to be patient, because even you yourself, you can see that at the end of this tunnel, there's a light. But in other countries, you can't even see the light. It's darkness all over. There's no light at the end of the tunnel in many countries. So I really like Ibrahim Traoré. Is that kind of a leader who is like, we have to push irregardless. In other words, we have to use our resources. We have to use what we have before we can say, let's call this country, let's ask these people to come and help us. We have to invest in us first. So what is the first step? Education is the most important tool. Education is the most important resource, because in other words, if you educate people in a right way, not in a wrong way, in a right way, those people will become an investment in that particular country. So education is very important. So I'm talking about practical education that will focus on solving the problems that Africa is facing. It doesn't mean everybody should become an administrator, because at the end of the day, we'll end up having like a lot of administrators who won't help us with anything. So now the most important thing is to solve the problem, is to solve the problems of Africa in general. It can be when it comes to energy, can be when it comes to unemployment, because we have to understand that the solution when it comes to unemployment lies on industrialization, or lies upon solving the problem. And again, if you are an investor, in other words, you have to understand that your focus should not be on money, but your focus should be on solving a problem. Then as a result of solving a problem, then money will come after you. So now I like the vision of Ibrahim Traoré. This is the man of vision. This is the man who's like, you know what, you have to act. That is why actions speaks louder than words. So he has to be supported. He has to be supported in his country. He has to be supported by other African leaders as well, because his vision is super. In other words, if you are going to develop investors in your country, visionaries in your country, everyone in your country amongst yourself, then it means your vision is super.